So you said you wanted to know a little more about the Canadian permanent residence process, right? That's why I'm here. I got you. Let me tell you about it. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Bologi Steven, and on here we talk about faith, life, love, and living that balanced life you've always wanted. Yes. If this is your first time, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today I'm going to be talking a bit about the Canadian permanent residence process. I must say, first of all, I'm not an agent, I'm not a consultant, I'm not an expert. For the OGs on this channel, you know how it goes. I'll basically be sharing like how the process was for my family and I, sharing some tips, some things I wish I knew better, and lessons, advice that you may or may not take, all that good stuff. For the past two videos, I've been talking a bit about our journey with relocating. I shared the miracle email that got us in, as well as the reason that we chose to relocate to Canada. And so today, I just want to go through how the process was like for us. Like I said in the other videos, why we chose Canadian permanent residence route was because when we looked at every other route available, this was the one that was most suitable for our family size. We fit the eligibility. It was something that we could do. It was something that fit our time frame, if I could put it like that. And we were eligible to apply. So why not? That's kind of how we came about the decision to pick this particular route, right? So we decided to do it somewhere in 2019, right? And then COVID hit, it was still part of the plan. Like I said in the other videos, by 2021, we actively started. So the first thing we did was to get our certificates evaluated by an evaluation body. So basically, what that means is that this body is going to take your certificate, because my husband and I schooled in Nigeria, to say, okay, this certificate in Nigeria is equivalent to this certificate in Canada. Do you understand? So, for example, secondary school is kind of like high school. Do you get? So it just evaluates the Nigerian certificate or wherever it is you schooled in, they require evaluation and converts it to the equivalent in Canadian education, right? So that was the first step. So for us, I had to do my LLB in law, evaluate that. I also had to evaluate my law school. So that's two evaluations for me. My husband had to evaluate his own degree from the university as well. So that took some time. If you know how Nigerian system can be sometimes, especially to be fair, my school, shout out to Babcock, they were very fast. I won't even lie. They were very fast. So yeah, that was fast. There was some drag on the others, but eventually it was evaluated. We used the West evaluation body. You can check, there are different evaluation bodies that can be used, right? Obviously, this video is not sponsored. I'm not trying to advertise anybody. I'm just telling you what worked for us. So the evaluation came in. It was actually it wasn't too slow. They evaluated it, where we both stood, right? The next thing was to write IELTS exam. That's the language exam, basically to test that you have enough knowledge of English language to communicate when you get here. I know it can be annoying, but it is what it is. Anyway, so we registered for that and started to prepare. Guys, to be honest, let me even tell you the truth. I wrote IELTS exam. I was 8 months pregnant for Ethan. At this point, I was wobbling in and just like, you know what, God, take control. But the few things I would say, number one, I did a lot of practice questions. I don't say a lot, but I did practice questions. It helps if you already in your day-to-day life speak good English, So that kind of helps you already, right? They're not looking out for you to come with a fake accent or any of that. At least in my experience, it was just that you speak well enough to communicate. So I wrote my IELTS exam. I wrote first, my husband wrote the next week. We did well. I maxed out, yes, yes, yes. In fact, let me tell you what happened. So I maxed out all the bands, which was actually surprising for me because, like I said, I was 8 months pregnant, guys. let me put that in perspective. So it was not even like me taking any of the glory. It was just like, oh God, you do this one. Oh. But anyways, so I maxed out, and then they reached out to me, the IELTS body reached out to me to do an Instagram live session on computer-based IELTS with Tunde Tash. I don't know if he's still, but he was like their brand ambassador and he's an influencer on Instagram. And then people saw it, I think they put it on their website. They're like, everyone's like, so you want to Japa? I'm just like casted. But yeah, that's just by the side. So, anyways, that was the first step for us. Number one, to evaluate our certificates, and then number two, to write the IELTS exam and get good scores, which thankfully we did. Then we opened our profile on the Canadian immigration website and open your profile, basically get in the pool where they'll do the draws. You get in the pool. So that was the next thing we did, which we did, I think, in April 2021. We got in the pool and we saw our score. There's like a score calculator that gives you an idea of where you might be. You can try that if you want. I think it's on their website as well. But anyways, we got in, we saw our score. The next thing is to wait. Yes, and that wait can be painful because it's uncertain. It depends on if they do draws. When they do draws, the numbers or the scores they draw, right? And if they draw yours. But basically, yeah, we got into the pool. Some people get provincial nomination. That means like a province, or in Nigeria, what we call a state, would say, oh, I want you. That's a different thing. It's kind of great because it gives you way more points, right? And kind of guarantees that you come in. But we didn't have a provincial nomination, so we had to wait. And like I said, the scores were high, the draws were higi hagai, and all of that. So we just continued with our life, which I would say was important. I think I'll come to that towards the end of this video. So do not go away. I'll be sharing some things I wish I knew earlier towards the end of the video. So yeah, the wait began and we just started to wait. A year after you open your profile and get in the pool, your profile would expire. So you have to re-enter the pool, basically, right? I should say that the West lasts about 5 years, IELTS lasts about 2 years, that's the validity, right? And the IELTS, you take the general exam, not the academic. I think for those going to school, you have to take the academic. For us, we took the general because it was permanent residence process. Anyways, so the profile expired. We put in another profile, got the pool again, same score, and then age reduced the score as time went on. And then all that happened with our miracle email, that's video number 1. I can't go into that, but you absolutely need to watch it if you haven't, because it was a whole miracle. But insert that entire video here, right? And then we got into the pool and they asked us to apply, because that's what happens when they draw your score. If your score is drawn, they then send you an official invitation to apply. That's when you submit your certificates, your WES evaluation, your IELTS results, your medicals, your proof of funds, police reports, and all of that. So we did all of that, got all of those things ready. It's good to know the body that does medicals closest to you. It's good to have an idea of your proof of funds. It's very, very important. When we got into the pool, we were a family of 2. Like I said, I was pregnant for Ethan. Yes, once I gave birth to Ethan, we had to add him to our profile. So that was something that we did. That means we needed to get his Nigerian passport ready. Trust me, that wasn't easy. Doing NIN and Nigerian passport for, I think he was less than 3 months when we did this thing. Well, I'm not even kidding. But I mean, so we added him. Now we're a family of 3. They update proof of funds from time to time. So it's very important that you have the correct information, if I can put it that way. So we added him, we're just, going through our life. So all that happened in 2023 happened, and then we submitted our application formally, and then another wait begins. Right. So the next thing after that, after shortly after we submitted, we were asked to do our biometrics. At this point in the US, we had decided that I was going to go home back to Nigeria for for the summer and just be with my family. The distance was not working; it was a long thing and all of that. So like, okay, great, we'll just do our biometrics in Nigeria. So we came to Nigeria, did our biometrics, submitted it, right? Now the next thing is just to wait. If they need more information from you, they would ask you for information. If they need clarification, they would ask you for clarification. You will get an email saying there's an update in your profile. Go and check it out. Check it out. You see what they need. You explain as clearly as possible. You submit. You continue another wait. You can follow up with web forms if you want, just to say, oh, how's this process going? You can call sometimes and all of that. Anyways, so another wait after the biometrics, and then they asked for a few information. They asked about my country of residence at the time because I had submitted a lot of stuff from the US. My medicals were from the US, all of that. My address at the time on the profile was in the US, and I'm the primary applicant. I should say that for a family, one person gets to be the primary applicant, and every other person is like a dependent that goes under that person. So it's important to weigh, if you're married, to weigh between you and your spouse, who is more beneficial to be the primary applicant. And some things to consider mostly is age. Usually it's better for the younger person, and I'm and I'm some years younger than my husband. So usually age, sometimes higher degree, but not as much. Also, the person that's the primary applicant kind of carries more burden to have higher scores in their IELTS. Do you understand? So the weight of your IELTS score is different. For the primary applicants, the weight of your IELTS score is higher than the spouse or the dependent. You understand what I mean? So in this case, I was the primary applicant for our family. So my address was in the US, medicals came from the US. So it made sense that they asked what's your current, residence, which I put the US because that's where most of that came from. And I explained that, oh, I'm in Nigeria for the break and all that. After that, another wait. Yes, there was quite some wait. They came back again and then asked for police reports. Normally, if you haven't lived in a country for up to 6 months, you're not required to have a police report from that country, which is why at the initial point of submission, since I hadn't been in the US for up to 6 months, I wasn't required to submit a police report. But I assume that based on saying that my current residence was the US, it became necessary to have that. I assume. Okay? I assume. But anyways, they asked me for that. And guys, let me even tell you, like when we get like emails from them and they need explanation, like that night I'm just going to be so tired. I'm just going to be like, oh my god. And then sometimes like, where do you start? And then I go to bed. And then the next day it just clears. Does that make sense? It just like I just know what to do. We just know what to do. And so we needed to get a police report from the US, and the police report in the US is handled by the FBI. I went on their website, I went to check how to go about it, the application, what I need to do, and all of that. I saw the application process, I started it, but then I had to send in my fingerprints. And it was not something I could submit online. I had to like literally mail it physically to the FBI office in the US. And I was like, oh my God, how do we go about this? I won't go into detail, but honestly, God just sorted that out for us. We We met somebody that day. It was just we're like, okay, I'm going to call this place. Are you going to call this place? And let's just try and figure this out, okay? And I called this person, and God just gave us favor. This person was so helpful. Person's experience in the matter, went in. Person basically guided me through the entire process of what to do and helped. And it was something that I was thankful that I didn't try to do it on my own because I would have messed it up. So that's another thing. Like for things you're not sure about, try and research, try and ask questions. If you can find somebody that has been through that process and can help you, honestly help you, because we know that there are some people that will just be like, nah, God, oh, nah, God, oh, God did it somehow. Can you like put me through if you know? But if you can always find guidance or help, research is also important because I had read about like the fingerprint thing. I knew that it's not the normal, way that we thumbprint, which is what I probably would have done, and it would have made it invalid. But anyways, this person just really guided me, really helped, was so helpful, so helpful. I was just like, God, again, you do this one, oh, like it's just you. Anyways, so we got that done, we got that mailed. I was tracking it because I have to mail it to the FBI office in the US. They have to get it, they have to process it, then they send me the report, then I submit. You understand? And then wake up one day and they send me an email that my parcel has been delayed. Abi, what is the English? And I'm like, delayed from where to where, for what, for what? Ah, gosh, in this process, my husband and I saw the power of unity and won't lie. And then that day, I remember it was a Monday. I was a bit worried, like about it, because I'm like, what is this, right? And we went to church for fellowship, and a dear friend of mine, she just saw me and she's like, I've been meaning to call you and pray with you. And then she's like, I'll call you when we get home. And then she called me and just prayed over us. It's so important to have friends like that. She didn't know any of this. I don't know what she saw, but it was not the first time she was doing something like that, anyways. But she just like prayed over us and just it kind of strengthened us. And then when she was done, my husband and I just continued in prayer and prayed for that particular thing. And we're like, God, we don't know what this delay is. We don't know why the parcel is being delayed wherever it is and how long this delay is, but we need you to sort it out, please, God. And the next day, it was delivered. Like, there was no even, oh, it has no longer been delayed, then it's now moving, it was just delivered. And a couple days after, the report was ready and we submitted. Another wait. So after we submitted this, I think that was the last piece of information they needed. And so when back to the process, right? So you get in the pool, they draw your score, they send you an invitation to apply, you get all your documents, you apply, you wait. Now, if all of this other back and forth didn't happen, the next step is that they should send you a passport request. I think it's called PPR or something. Like I said, I'm not an expert. So it's called like they send you a passport request, basically saying send your passport to the nearest visa office to you for it to be stamped with your PR visa, because you still need a visa to go in at this point, right? So I'm sitting down, my husband and I go for Rema Bible School tester class, and I'm sitting down there, I get an email. I see the email and I'm like, oh Lord Jesus. I sent it to my friend. I'm like, what's this? Remember my friend that was in Canada from video number 1? And she's just like, PPR, PPR, PPR. Gosh. Fun fact, it came the same day has came a year ago. Yes, it was actually the same date. I remember that, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, that's not the point. But guys, another twist. Yes, we're not done with the twists and turns. I'm telling you, even when you know that this is God's leading, it's not always smooth sailing. So for people that are waiting for, even in relationship, you're like, if this relationship has any higgy haga, it's not from God. You will not enter any relationship, you will not marry. Life has challenges. As far as you're living and breathing, there will be challenges. But sorting them out with God, going back to God at every point and making sure you are on track is what is important, right? So, anyways, the issue was because my residence was in the US, they asked us to send our passports to Canada to be stamped because the closest visa office to US is Canada. It makes sense. However, yours truly and her family were in Nigeria. So another dilemma, and a lot of the dilemmas I dealt with were dilemmas that people had not dealt with. Like for the FBI police report, for example, I tried to find out I couldn't find anybody that had done it. Thankfully, I was now able to help somebody else afterwards to do for him and his family. So I was grateful for that. This one again, I couldn't find anybody that had been through that situation. So it was kind of like novel, you know. And we're like, okay, so what do we do? We thought about mailing our passports to my friend in Canada to then submit to them, get it back to them, and then mail it back to us. But number one, it's very risky to just put your passports in like any courier company and send it like, I mean, that's one. Two, it was not fitting the instruction. And I guess I'm a sucker for instructions. I like to err on the side of extreme caution when it comes to instruction. Yes. So I'm like, it looked like a good option. We took our passports. You're supposed to take a passport photograph, you know, with specifications and attach with your passport and send it off. So we had done that. We were literally parked in front of the courier office, just about to mail our passports, to my friend, like I said, and I just wasn't comfortable with it. Just wasn't comfortable with it. And so I called the Canadian immigration, the customer care service, which, if you know, is quite a wait. So it was quite a wait, with the time difference. It was really a wait. But then I got to speak with this person, and then the person is like, I'm not going to advise you to do that. The person was reluctant to give me an actual position, but the person was just like, why not just let us know the current situation, like raise a web form and say, this is where you are now, this is the situation, they should guide you. So I'm just like, yeah, this reluctance. Anyways, we're like, okay, so it's best not to send it. So we don't send it. I raise the web form, I explain everything that's going on. They give you a number of days to send your passport. So I'm like, okay, please God, they should answer within these days so that we can send it. Guys, I think that was now the longest wait. We waited. I kept raising web forms, I would call, all of these things. Sometimes I would hear different feedback from different agents, because again, it wasn't, I don't know, I guess it wasn't a very, very common thing. But I remember one day I called and then this other agent picked up and was very helpful. So we package everything, book an appointment to submit our passports, go in, submitted our passports with I attached all my explanation, the web form, just err on the side of excess and caution, right? And we sent it off. So the next thing to do again was wait for the passport to be stamped. And they had given us an estimated number of days to wait, and that passed, and more days passed, and I wasn't getting updates again. At first, I was getting like frequent track. Okay, so the passport is here now, it's here now, it's gone here now, it's gone here now, it's gone here now, and then silence. I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? Is there an issue? I can laugh now, but And I remember one time, like, they had been silent for a while, and this was the day of, I think, our anniversary. This was our anniversary, and I was starting to get a bit anxious and worried about it. So on our anniversary, my husband was invited somewhere to preach. So we went, that's how we spent our anniversary, life of ministers, it happens, moving on. So we came back and again, parents were too tired to go for like late night dinner or whatever. So after we came back, we just lay in bed, we are just talking, reminiscing, talking about the anniversary. You know how anniversary gets you, all of that. And as we were talking, we of course got into our process and we said we're going to pray. I think our anniversary was a Thursday. We said we're going to pray about it. And we joined hands and I remember that prayer very well because like when say if two of you shall agree on a matter, it shall be done. We just deployed that basically. And I remember my husband saying, Lord, we want a response tomorrow. When you're praying and you open one eye, like, man of God, take it easy. Tomorrow is a bit fast. Why don't you give them like Monday, Tuesday? You understand? Give the angels some time to get things working. But I remember that he prayed that prayer particularly. And I'm like, Amen. The next day came Friday, my husband went to work. Remember this prayer was prayed in the night. So tomorrow is like 3 or 4 hours away. My husband goes to work, I'm home, and like 10 a.m., guys, I kid you not, I got an email. 10 a.m., I got an email, our passport was stamped and ready. I was too, I was too, I was in awe of God. This fearful reverence of Him, like, hey, God, hey, that's it. I called my husband, I'm like, babe, see the email I just got. God. Anyways, so we said our passport was stamped and ready. We'll be sent back to Nigeria. We can pick up to Saudi. And we picked up our passport the next week. And of course, then decided, like, at this point, everything was ready on the process side. So it's just flights, pick a day to travel, sort out your things in Nigeria, say goodbye to friends and family, which was really hard. I won't even lie. I think that was the hardest part for me. And yeah, that's how the process went. I don't know. I feel like I said so much, I shared so much with you guys, but it is why I'm here. That's how the process was for us. So it wasn't all smooth sailing, but with every challenge, God made a way through, and every way through that He made was miraculous. There was nothing that was so small. There was nothing that was like an insignificant way out. It was all big way out. If I can put it that way. Just a few things to share. And these lessons I'm sharing are not just about relocation. For some of you, you are not relocating, but these lessons will help you in decision making in life generally. Number one, it's very important to research and get information. The right information is very, very, very important. Ask the right people the right questions. Research on your own because sometimes people can honestly mislead you. So by the time you're asking questions, it helps to have an idea based on your research so that your questions are clarification questions or something you couldn't find in your research. And make sure you are asking the right people that, number one, have the right information or have access to the right information, and people that have your best interest at heart, not somebody that don't care about you, they'll just come and give you rubbish information. That one is on you. So research and ask the right people the right questions. Next thing, especially for families and especially with relocation, but with anything really, it's important that there's unity. It's important that you guys are in agreement. Like with all of this pushback that I've shared that we had, imagine that one of us was not in agreement, it would have caused a lot of trouble in our home. It would have caused a lot of, shit, I told you, why are we even doing this? See how much money it's costing us. Because, for example, some of the career things that we had to do, some of these things needed more monies that we didn't budget for, So it's important that you are united. That prayer that we prayed twice that brought quick results, I really believe that it was also a factor of united prayer. Both of us coming together to join our faith in agreement concerning this thing. Am I saying if it was one person that prayed it won't work? That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that the fact that we were two, I believe, was an extra factor. And just being in peace with each other in the process. Because the process can already be tiring, it can already be tasking, it can already be demanding, no matter how smooth it is. You don't want to add that and add strife in your family. So please be united. Hardly any decision is worth strife, introducing strife in your family. So please be united. Number 3 is take action. There's never a perfect time to do anything. The Bible says that anybody that observes the wind will not sow. If you're waiting for perfect conditions, you will not sow. The best time to take action is now. And it doesn't have to be the big action. Take a step at a time. Like I said, it's not just about relocation. With anything, take a step at a time. Take a step at a time. Take a step. What action can we make now? Okay, we want to relocate. What can we do now? Is it research? Is it information gathering? Is it document gathering? Is it West? What can we do now? Stop postponing. You will never do anything. You want to write a book. What can you do now? You want whatever it is you want to do. There is something you can do now. Take action. Number 4, pray. Pray about everything. Commit everything you're doing into God's hand. I think I talked about this in the previous video. Like God gives us wisdom. We have a wisdom for certain things that we'll do in life. Before you cross the road, you don't say, oh God, is it your will that I cross the road? So there are certain things He gives us wisdom to do. However, it's always still important to pray about it, to commit it into God's hand, to ask for redirection if necessary, to ask for the right people to help you or to guide you when you get stuck, to ask for peace in your heart, because you need peace in your heart as you're navigating life and all of those things. So it's important to pray. Next thing, right support system, guys. Oh my goodness, you know me and friendship. Right support system, people that when you're discouraged can encourage you. People that when you're discouraged can find the right information for you. Like, Mani was just the best person for me for this process. I won't even lie. Because like when I'm discouraged, like I said in the first video, she's like, I have enough faith for you and yours. Getting the right information for me, just encouraging me through. When we landed in her house, just all of these things, the right support system, my brother-in-law and his wife, family, my family, even when they didn't fully understand the process, my parents would always ask, okay, so what's going on? They would pray just to know that you have the right people around you, my friends, the right support system, whether to encourage you, to give you information, to just love on you. And like I said, it's not just about relocation, it's about life in general, decisions in general. Have the right support system. And then finally, don't pause your life. I know that relocation is big on a lot of people's minds, but another mistake people make is not finding that balance between taking action and not pausing your life. A lot of people have paused their life. For some people, they've paused their life that until they are married, they will not do this and this and this. That's not the will of God for you. Don't pause your life. Don't pause your life. While you are working on this, there's still something to do. While we're working on relocation, there were still things we're doing. We're still working. We're still doing ministry. We're still preaching in programs. We're still loving up on our friends and our families and just basically living our life. Live your life. Don't pause your life. Take the steps you need to take per time. But don't just pause your life waiting for one big thing to happen, waiting for relocation to happen, waiting for marriage to happen, waiting for children to come, waiting for ministry to kick off. Whatever it is that is your own situation, waiting for career Don't pause your life. There's something you can still do while you wait for that thing. Because as happened with us and happens in life, there will be down times. There will be trying and uncertain times. There will be times when you're like, is this thing worth it? Is this wait worth it? Will this thing ever come through? Whatever it is you're waiting for. And that's what I'm going to be sharing in the next video. In the next video, I'm going to be very vulnerable and share some of the down times and how we navigated it. And I believe that it will help you not just in relocation, but in life in general. The discouraging times, the trying times, the uncertain times, and how we were able to handle it without pausing our lives. That's what I'm going to be sharing in the next video. Thank you guys for watching till the end. I didn't expect this to be this long, but here we are. I'm sure you enjoyed it. I'm sure it blessed you. I'm sure you learned something. Please feel free to like this video, subscribe to this channel if you haven't, and share this video with somebody that would encourage them, bless them, give them just to enjoy, whatever it is. And I will see you in my next video. Bye. Oh, hi, baby. 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 Did you enjoy your time? Good. Can you give mommy a few minutes to finish recording? Okay, are you just be quiet? Thank you. Yeah, go to the room. I'm almost done, okay? No, baby. Just take it to your mommy's coming. Thank you.